Okay, so Python includes a set of string methods. So these methods are string methods. They're called methods. They are basically like functions, but they are used in a different way. When you use a method, you have to use the string variable. Okay, so let's look at this. Sentence equals to, you input a sentence. And so now this will have the value of whatever you input, right? And this is what you entered, for example. So that will be inside this variable. This variable is pointing to this basically. So we use that variable name and we call this method. To call a method, you must use the dot. Okay, see the variable name followed by the dot, the period, followed by the method name. Okay, this method must have this parenthesis. So that's a method. By doing this, you're splitting it into different words. So let me give you an example. Okay. Need to go. Let's do this here. So for example, sentence, I just say S, input, hello, everybody, right? Okay, so and so I will say, I should say enter something, right? So I'm going to enter good morning, everybody. Okay, so now good morning, everybody will go into S. And I can do this. I can do S dot split. Okay, remember, if you look at this, this is the variable name is sentence here, right? Sentence. And then when you use the split, you do sentence dot split. And here my variable name is S, so I will do S split. Okay, and after you split, it will give you this. You see, this is called a list, actually, with the square brackets, it's a list. And each word is by itself. So now there are 3 words, and they are separated with a comma. Okay, so this split by default, split the string by the space. So you see here we have a space, right? So it splits them this way by default with a space. So let me do that again. I will say S, this time it's equal to, I will, without entering, I will just put it here. Now let's have a comma, okay? And have an extra space. And let's see what it looks like when we split, okay, S, so that you understand it better. Okay, so you see that this has a space. Do you see that? After the comma, there is actually a space, right? Everybody, you see that? And the comma goes with good also. So what this means is it looks for that single space that separates each word. So it takes this as a word, as a whole thing. And the space before morning is the one that splits. Do you understand what I'm talking about, everybody? Do you all understand this? Yes or no? No? Kind of? Okay, so I'm saying by default, this split the string with the space. The space is the splitter, is the separator. Okay, so if you have a comma, it belongs to this word because that's not what you use to split. Okay, by default. And you also, after the comma, you have a space, and that space is split into this word. Okay, it's looking for the next space before the next word. So that's why you have a space here. Okay, space and comma. So that's the split. That's what that means. So when you enter this sentence has no long words, this will be split into this sentence has no long words, right? Including the period actually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 elements. And by the way, this is each one of them is called an element of the list. Okay, it's a list, L-I-S-T, list. And so there are 3 elements in this list. While here, when you split this, you see, when you do this, list of words will have 6 elements, right? And so when you print, len is the function, you know that. List of words is the list name variable, and it will give you 6 here, right? There are 6 words, okay? And this is you added, that's a string. So it counts how many elements in that list, and it gives you the number of elements. And here I can say, okay, then, oh, I didn't do the, I need to assign it to a variable. So let me just say L as split, okay. And then len, not a good name, everybody. You do not follow me. I'm just saving some time here. When you do your program, you need to make sure your variable name be more meaningful. Okay, so you can see there are 3 elements, right? Okay, just know that S itself did not change. Please know that, okay? You need to, so even when you split, it gives you back something, but you did not, here, you did not touch it. Here, it gives you back a list and you saved it in this L variable. So S itself did not change, but L is the list, resulting list. Okay. You need to listen to this again, really, to really digest it. Learning something takes time, just know that. The first time you hear it, you might not understand it. The second time you hear it, you begin to digest it. The third time you understand it. So don't expect you hear it once and you immediately know. If you know, that's great. But that's why you need to go back and relearn things. Okay, so there are 6 words, right? Now let's look at this. Sum is 0 for word in list of words. Remember, this is a list. So you can do this, right? This is just a variable. Sum is equal to len word. So word is each word. This sentence has, no, those are the word, right? Each one of them in the list. And you are adding the length of that word into sum. So you are accumulating the sum of all the words. And then you are doing a division, the total number of characters, the length, divided by the length of the number of words, right? That would be, you will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, this is 4. This will give you how many? 9. This is 3. This is 2, 4, 5. You add them all together, divided by 6, which is the length of this list. That gives you 4.5. So it's saying the average word length is 4.5. Okay? Questions, everybody? So I give you this, actually, I give you this example here. Okay, so word list, you print that word list, that's what it is. Okay, look at this example. Any questions? Okay, a method behaves like a function, but has a slightly different syntax. A method is always called with a given data value called an object. And you don't understand an object yet, but just know when you call a method, you always use an object, okay? Followed by the dot, followed by the method name, followed by this parenthesis. And the within the parenthesis is called the argument list. You can have more than one arguments. If you have more than one, you separate them with comma. Okay, that is what a method is. So if you look at what we have right here, now here, words is the string object. And so we use the string object followed by the dot, followed by the method, followed by parentheses. This method has no arguments. So that's why you don't have anything inside. And that gives you word list. That's how you call a method. The object name, in this case, the string variable, dot split. Okay, that's a method. But here is the tricky part of Python. Look at this. This is called a function. When you call this function, you do not need an object. Your object is actually inside the parentheses. This is where the really, I would say, the inconsistency is with Python and C and C++. With Java, everything is an object. So when you call a method, it's always object name dot method name. With Python, some functions, and this is a function, you see, you just use the function name followed by parentheses, followed by the object name, whatever you want to do. Here, the object name is here, right? Followed by dot, followed by the method name. So that's the difference, okay? Methods can expect arguments. I already talked about that. You can have no arguments or one or two or more. And return values. They give you back a value, okay? So if you look at this, we don't have to, we can look at this. If you look at this, to always remember the right side. Okay, so this method will give you back a list, and you are assigning that list to this variable. So now when you print list, that's the list it gives you, right? So it returns you a value. That means it gives you back a value. That's what this means, okay? So it will return values, give you back. A method knows about the internal state of the object, with which you really don't have to understand this for now. In Python, all data values are objects. Okay, view a complete list of document string by. Okay, you can do that, right? And we will look at the string methods. Okay, so string methods. Oh, we did that already previously in chapter 2. So. Okay, string methods, 3 of 3. Okay, extracting a file names extension. So my file.text, this is a string, literal, an object, right? Dot split. Here, this split method has an argument, which is the dot, right? So my file is the object, and followed by the dot, followed by the method name. And the method here, instead of empty space, it gives you the dot. That means that's the splitter. And now that is the 2 elements. So if you, what did I want to do? I want to do this. Let's look at this, okay? File is equal to file.text. Okay, so if we do this, if we say file, now I'm using a variable, right? File. In this example, it's using directly the string literal, the value itself, but I'm putting that value into a variable. You understand that? Okay, so file split. If I don't have any arguments for the split method, it will, remember this by default, it looks for the space, but this has no space. So now you see only one element. However, if I do file.split, I give it an argument. I say, okay, split it with the dot. Then it gives you 2 elements. That's the difference, okay? So you can split it with anything. Let's try something else. Someone has a chat. Can you tell me what the message is, everybody? Someone? Okay, let's split it with L. Let's see what happens. Okay, so you can split it with L and you can see it gives you what? Fi, comma, and then E dot px. Oh, mine is just file, right? So I split it with L. You understand that, right? So the next part is E text, Fi. So L is the splitter, it's not included. That means you can split it with any symbol you want. Okay, everybody, any questions?
So, for example, if like let's say that like is it going to go to the first one it finds in that name? So let's say like I don't know, file had two L's. It would go to the first L versus okay.
That's a great question. Let's see what happens. Okay, I will do it this way. Dot split, and let's use L, and let's see what happens. Okay, it will give you a space, an empty space, because there is nothing, right? There is nothing in between, so it gives you this. Okay, Justin?
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, everybody? These examples are very important, right, everybody? You know, you look at it and think and try to understand it. That way you understand it much better. Okay, so you understand all these. We did and you have them here also. The subscript, remember the subscript operator, right? -1 extracts the last element, can be used to write a general expression for obtaining any file name's expansion as follows. File name dot split. Remember, when it splits, what does it give you back? Do you remember? When it splits, what does it give you back? Anyone? I'm going to test you now. Okay, let's look at this. URL is equal to yes. Okay, split with that / yes, and print that list. And then the department is that list last element. The college is the second element from last. Okay, let's run it. Very good. Yes, drag it to the side, Macron, so that we can see. Yes, okay, very good, everybody. You can see HTTP, and then you have an empty space that we already experienced that with the L. Remember the file with 2 L's, right? So you understand that because there is nothing in between those two separators. So it's not even an empty space. It's just completely nothing, right? And alamo.edu and LC, COS. So this is absolutely correct. Very good. Very, very good. Okay, everybody, any questions about this? So let's look at the other string methods, okay? These are some of them. I'm giving you an example for each one. So let's look at this. The first one is center. Remember, S is simply the string variable, right? The object dot center. Width, this is how many, what's the width? Okay, so it returns a copy of S centered within the given number of columns. So if you look at this, okay, so here, len S is high there, and you get the length, which is 9, so that you know how to center it, right? So the length is 9, and you use 11 as the width. That way you have an extra space on either side, right? So 9 plus 2, that's 11. That's why you have 11. So that's why you call that method, to just know how many characters. So you need to center it. Okay, that's how the center is used. And the count, s.count. So for this method, I give you the explanation here. This means the character at index start is included. Okay, the character at index start is included. So this is a position and this is a position index. but the character at index end is not included. Okay, that's what that means. And so here it says returns the number of non-overlapping occurrences of substring sub in S. Optional arguments start and end are interpreted as in slice notation. So that's why I put this explanation there so that you understand what that means, that syntax. Okay, ends with find. So this is the same. And its alpha simply tells you returns true or false. Is it alphabetical characters? Is it digital characters? These two methods returns true or false. This will return the index, right? It returns the lowest index in S where substring a sub is found. And this will join the sequence. We will have an example. You will see what that means. This will make the string to lowercase, return the copy of the string in lowercase. This will replace the old string with a new string, and this is where it should be. Okay, how many? No, let's see what it says. Returns a copy with all occurrences. If the optional argument count is given, only the first count occurrences are replaced. This means only several count. How many you want to replace? Okay, so split, you already know this method, right? You can also have a split without this, right? You understand that. This is start with a certain substring, strip. You want to strip off what? That's what that means. Okay, make it to uppercase. So here you have some examples. I gave you, this is from the book. These examples are from the book. Okay, so you understand center. You count how many E's are there. There are two, right? 1, 2 here in this string. We are looking at this S, that's the string variable, right? So there are 2 E's. S ends with there. That's true because this string does end with there. Okay, let me clear that. Okay, and S dot starts with high, and that returns true because it does start with high, right? The first word. S dot find the, and this gives you the index. So 0, 1, 2, 3. T starts at 3, so it gives you 3. Okay, S dot is alpha. It's not true because this is not an alphabetical character, the exclamation mark. Am I recording? Yes. Okay, and this space is not an alphabetical character, so it returns false. Okay. And then ABC, is it alpha? Yes, it's true. 3, 2, 6, is it digit? It's true, right? Okay, words split, and you remember, where is words? Oh, words, okay, words is equal to S dot split. So you split this, by default, it splits with a space. So you have 2 elements, high and there, right? That's the split, including mark. And then join words, that means you want the space, nothing, to join this words. Okay, let me see, hi there. For this one, I'm having a little bit problem. Let's see, why does it give you, where is words? Words is there, right? I need to look at this. I'm having a little bit problem here. Join words. So the space and join words, that will give you the separate spaces. I need to look at this one. For this one, this is the first time I'm using this. I'm having a little bit problem here. So I will not test you on this, definitely. Okay, because it's really not as important. And this one is, I have my own example that will explain it much better. So when you actually do it, and this one is insert that into these elements. Okay, so let's forget about these 2 here. Okay, S dot lower, make it to lowercase. You understand that? S originally is in uppercase, that the high is in uppercase, right? Okay, Let me clear that first. Okay, so you can see S lower, high there. S upper, dot upper, make it all in uppercase. Another thing I need you to understand is that when you do this, you are not changing S, everybody. That's very, very important to remember. Remember, it returns a copy of that string in whatever the method is doing. So the method is putting everything in lowercase. So this call to the method will return you a copy of that S in that format. However, a copy. So the original one, S, did not change. That's very important to remember. Okay, the original string does not change unless you do the assignment, unless you do this. S equals to S dot lower. It's difficult to write here. If you do this, okay, this is lower, by the way, everybody. So when you do this, you are changing S. Remember, how do you change a variable? You must use the assignment operator. So when you assign the returned copy, the returned value to this variable, then it's changed. Here, it's not changed. This only gives you a copy of the original value with the new features. Okay, so that's why it didn't change anything actually. Okay, so S dot replace I with O, right? That high is changed to O. Ho there. Hi there dot strip. This is stripping the actual space here, the actual space. Okay. So that's that. Some of you may ask, why isn't it not stripping this one? Because this whole string is it's one element. It's not a list. Remember, if it's a list, it has several elements, right? Here it's one string, so it's stripping this space, and this space. So now you only have hi there. Okay. Any questions about this? No questions? Okay. So notice this is high there, okay, with two extra spaces. Strip will strip whatever. So returns a copy of S with leading and trailing white space. Tabs, spaces, new lines removed. If A string is given, remove characters in A string instead. So you can specify what you want to strip also. So that's that. Any questions, everybody? Except this join, we will look at it. When I worked on this, I didn't do it this way. So now my mind doesn't work that way. Okay, so any other questions? Okay, so I give you a lot of some more examples about this. So let's look at this, okay? String, hello world. So this is the variable name, right? And you get how many characters so that you know now, oh, 13 characters. Okay, I will say str.center 26. So you will have 7, right? 7 characters, 7 and 6 characters on either side. So that's what that is, okay? So I give you the explanation there so that you know how many spaces you need to center the string, okay? And so when you, and here I'm trying to tell you, notice that string str, that variable itself did not change. So if you print it out, if you want to know what the value of str is, it's still hello world. It's not 6 spaces, hello world, 7 spaces. It's not like that. It's still hello world. So str did not change. I stressed that point previously. And str.count, LL, how many double L's, right? LL, there is 1, okay? And then you can say str.count, LL, starting from index 2 and finish before 3. Remember, the second one is not included. So start at 2 and you count, hello, you start at 2, that is L, right? Hello, 0, 1, 2. So you start at 2 and there is L, but you stop before before 3. So there is only one L, not two L's. That's why it gives you a 0. But if you stop before 4, then you are including 3. So there is 1. Okay, this is just to show you this index is included. This index is not included, okay, for that count. So that's what that is. Any questions, everybody? So I'm explaining that the end index is excluded, okay? And then you see string that ends with LD, and it says str object has no attribute and with, because I misspelled, and with, it ends with the S, third person. So string ends with LD. So when you have a problem, always check what it says. It says this object has no attribute and with. That means this method doesn't exist. It's not an attribute of this string. So you check your spelling and it's S, right? And it doesn't end with LD. If you look at it, it doesn't end with LD. Why? Because there is an exclamation mark. So if you ask if it ends with, if it ends with this, it says true, right, everybody? Okay, now str.find LL, that it gives you the index, and that is at index 2, if you remember, right? LL. And string str.find LL starting at 0 and ending before 3. Remember, the end index is not included. So before 3, that's 0, 1, 2. And that is HEL. So LL is not found. If it's not found, it gives you -1. Okay. And if you say start from 0 and before 4, which is 3, that will include the second L. So it will give you the position, which is 2, right? Okay, any questions here? I will stop for a minute so that you can see if you have any questions. Let me pause. Cannot find it. Okay, pause for a minute. Okay, the next one is a string str is alpha, false because there are spaces, etc. If you look at hello world, there are space, comma, and exclamation mark. Those are not alphabetical characters. There are only 52 alphabetical characters, right? 26 plus 26. So that's false. And now I changed str. You see, this is how you change. Use assignment operator. Now str is only hello, and is it alpha? True. Is it digit? False. Now I changed str again to 1, 2, 3, 4, and I ask the same question. Is it digit? It is true. Okay. And if you change it again, I change it again to 2, 3, A4. Is it digit? No. Is it alpha? No, because you have, this is alphanumerical characters, right? So the answer is false. Okay, now let's look at this one. Here, I'm reassigning string hello world to my str. I declared a new variable just so that you know. Okay, str, my string, my str equals to hello world. I'm doing the John SSSS. So you are using it to join that my str, right? So notice that it will insert this 4 times. So 4 times. Okay, that's the join function. We can go back and look at that one. So if you do it this way, it inserts this $sign 4 times around for the string. Okay, and for this one, lower, right? I'm doing it lower. So do we want to go back and look at this? So this will insert the words, which is high there, right? Which is high there. Yeah, which is high there around the space. So there is nothing. That's why, because this is a space. I'm putting this inserted before and after. Before just once, right? Just once. So before, and this is the space. I still don't understand this one because this is a list. So because it's a list, I didn't try the list. So I need to look at that list thing and explain this one. Okay, everybody? So let's still not talk about this. I will talk about this next time. Okay, but if it's a string, you are joining it. If you say 4 of them, it will insert it 4 times. Okay, and lowercase, make it to lower. So lowercase, you understand that. And once again, remember, my str did not change. It's still uppercase H, uppercase W, okay? This is only a copy of this in this format. That's what that means. And see here, I'm telling you, it did not change. It's still the same. If you want it to change, what do you have to do? Yes, if you wanted to change, you have to really change. You have to say my str equals to my str dot lower. That way it's changed. Otherwise, when you just do this, it's just an expression. It did not change anything. Okay. So s dot replace, you want to replace everyone. You want to replace world with everyone because this is hello world. But I use the s, but s doesn't exist. So it says name s is not defined because nowhere did I mention s, right? The correct variable name is my str. So you just change it. And this is how you debug. You look at that and you know, oh, s, I never defined s. So the variable name is my str dot replace. Change this to this, and now that's the value, right? Okay. Instead of world, it changed to everyone. But if you look at the my str again, it's still hello world. It did not change. Once again, it did not change. This only gives you back a value, a copy of the original value changed. But the original value did not change. Okay. I did my string, change O, replace O with A, and just one occurrence. And it says, my string is not defined. Where is my string? I cannot find it. And also this this method call is not correct. So this is, I don't know what I was thinking. It's completely wrong there. Okay, without even the method name. So the correct way, okay, my str dot, okay, my str dot replace, right? That's the correct way to call a method. The object name dot method name. Change O with, replace O with A and just one occurrence. Change only one occurrence. So hello world. And this O did not change because I did not say all of them. Without this argument, it would be all of them. With that specification, it will change however many you specify. Okay. And so if you look at this, I did not specify, and then it changed all of them, right? The two occurrences are changed. So that's the replace method. And then str that starts with he. And it says what? Starts with, takes at least one argument, 0 given. Why did it say that? It actually, str doesn't exist. I know that. But why did it give me that error? That's not very telling, right? str does not exist. I don't have it, actually. Str, yeah, I remember I restarted this. So that error is not correct. So I changed it to my str starts with, and now it says true, right? Hello starts with HE. And my str dot starts with this, it's false because it should be uppercase. So remember, it's case sensitive. This is uppercase, right? Okay. Okay, so this is false. My str equals to, okay, the spaces. And when you print it out, for this one, I press tab. So when you print it out, it gives you the tab. For this one, I just press the spaces. So those are the spaces, okay? That's what it looks like. And then I say my str.strip. Remember, strip strips off the tabbed new line characters and any spaces. So when you do that, it gives you this, right? It takes off all the spaces. But once again, I said this so many times, this does not change the original string. So when you look at the original string, when you use this variable and you do upper, look at it, it still has this there, right? Because this did not change the original string. And we said this so many times. If you want to change the original string, you need to do an assignment statement. And so if you do this, this will change it, right? Now it's changed. And then you do upper, and then it's correct. Okay, that's all the methods. I think I used examples to explain this. And those are the only two. I will come back. I don't want to take time right now to look into it, right? So we will look at that next time. But these are all the methods that we have, there are in the book. For the find method, when it cannot find anything, it will return -1. That's what that is. Okay.
But if when it finds it, sorry.
Go ahead.
But when it finds it, what does it print?
It will return the index. So let's look at that example. I'm going to share my screen again. So if you look at find, right? str.find ll, and str is, move it back. Str is hello world. So you will go to, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, right? So there are 5 characters, and the indices are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so when you say find this, that means from beginning to the end without any other optional arguments. This means from the beginning to the end. So it finds it. It starts at index 2. So if you look at this, LL, the first L starts at index 2. So that's why. And then it says find this start from 0 and end before. Remember, this end index is not included. So end before 3. And so it will look at 0 is he, is H, and 1 is E, 2 is L. And then it ends because 3 is not included. So there is only 1 L. It didn't find it, so it gives you a -1. For this one, it finds 0 is H, 1 is E, 2 is L, 3 is L, and 4 is not included, so it found it, and it starts at 2. Does that answer your question, Macreen?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions, everybody? Okay, data sub 2 will give you P. 0 is M, Y is 1, and P is 2. Data sub -1, what does that give you?
E.
E, yes, because the last character is E. Len subdata, len data, what does that give you? Len is a function. What does that give you?
$13.
13. Everybody else, what does it give you? Okay, just for the recording's purpose, len data gives you 13. It's the length of that whole string. That's 13 characters, including the dot. And this will give you my program. That means you start from 0 and you stop before 8. So if you count, that's from 0 to 7, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Am I right? That's 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yes.
7. So my
So
brand
it's program.
without the M, right, everybody?
Yes.
Yes, okay, without the M, everybody. Let's look at the next one. Assume that you're writing there, I cannot do multitasking, everybody. If you can just speak up, because I'm reading, looking at this, and I have to go to chat to check. That is difficult for me to do. Assume that the variable data refers to the string my program. Write the expression that perform the following tasks. Extract the substring gram from data. How do you do that? So data.replace. Okay, yes, I see one answer, everybody. Yes, good, good. Anyone else? Okay, so that's how you do that one, right? The fourth one, D, data.replace. Replace the old one with the new one. We have the answer there. We have several answers. And for C, this is B, convert the string to uppercase, you have the answer. I did not record just now, so I'm just going back to make sure you know that. For C, locate the position of the string rules. It's right there. That's correct. And for A, obtain a list of the words in the string. And I mentioned data has to be lowercase, and that's correct, right? That's correct. Okay, so very good, very good. Let's do the second one. Using the value of data from exercise 1, write the values of the following expression. I'm telling you, I'm not sure about B. I myself, I have to tell you that. So let's look at A. What does A give you? What will A give you? Data that ends with I. What will Melanie said false, and Melanie and so many of you. I was just looking at, just make sure you remember the uppercase for F, it should be uppercase. And this is a little bit confusing, Justin also lowercase and Joe lowercase. Make sure you remember it should be uppercase, T and F for true and false, okay? Very good. OMCAT, Python totally rules. I know that yes, but I need to understand it really completely. I still have I'm having a little bit trouble here. I need to look into it and completely explain it to you well next time. Okay, for this one, it will give you that, but I need to explain it to you so that you understand it completely. Okay. Okay, that is exercise on page 118. And let's go to review on page 131. It's 10:55. Okay, 131. So thank you so much, everybody. I really enjoyed this. You all came through and you answered the questions very well. Very good. 131. Okay, so did I say 131? Yeah, okay, let's look at this. The expression land data. This should be very easy now to you, I hope, I think, right? So let's look at this. If you don't want to answer, you can write it in the chat. A, what is the answer? B, C, B, 7, CB 7. Okay, so C and B. Okay, let's count, everybody. No way. So when we talk about the length, we are not talking about position. We are talking about length. That means the number of characters. So we will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is 7. Okay, everybody, let's do the first one first so that everybody has a chance. Okay, so that's 7. Some of you answered C, that's 6. You are counting the indices. remember, when you count the index or position of a character, you start from 0. When you are looking at the number of characters, we start from 1 because that's the number of characters. So for the answer for 1, it's B, 7. Okay, count. There were 7 characters, right? Okay. The expression data sub 1 evaluates to what? For 2, what is the answer for 2? B, yes. Oh, that's correct. That's correct. Okay. Number 3, the expression data sub 1, what does that give you? I'm looking at 3, everybody. A, okay, that's very good. That's very good. Yes, okay, A, that the exclamation mark. Very good. Okay, number 4, the expression data 3 to 6, what does that give you? So you said B, Melanie said B, Marilyn said B, okay? It gives you 3 to 6, and 6 is, yes, a lot of you are saying B, because 6 is not included. So we count 3 is W, 3, 4, 5, that's 3 characters. It gives you B, that's correct, okay? The expression data dot replace no with yes evaluates to what? C, 5 is C, that's correct. Okay, yes, that's correct. Okay, very good. The expression data dot find, I'm looking at 6, everybody. The expression data dot find way evaluates to what? Number, I'm talking about 6. So I see C or B for 6, B, B. So a lot of you are answering B, right? Okay, I'm looking at B. So for 6, it's B because you are looking at the index of where this is, and no way 0, 1, 2, 3. So W starts at 3, it's B. Remember, this find returns the index. It doesn't return true or false. Okay, it gives you the index of where that substring is. Number 7, a Caesar cipher locates the coded text of a plain text character. What? 7. Omkar answered. Everybody else? Anyone else? Yes, A, right? Shift. It shifts the character. So a given distance to the left or to the right. Yes. We haven't learned this. I will. Yeah, we haven't learned those 3. Okay. Very good. Great job, everybody. I like this way. This is actually a good way because this way a lot of you can answer, can participate. Otherwise, only, okay. So binary means, bi means 2, right? Bi, die, they all means 2. Okay, so binary means a base 2. That means there are 2 digits, and those 2 digits are 0 and 1. And this is a binary number. Is this a binary number, everybody?
No.
No, no, because of this, right? That's not. When I'm going through the slides, I don't have time to look at the chat actually. Okay, octal. Octal means 8, right? So this is base 8. And I learned in Spanish it's ocho, right? 8. Okay, ocho. Yes. Okay. So this is from 0 to 7. That's the valid digits. So this would be it can be an octal number, but this will not be an octal number because 9 does not belong to that. Oh, yes, 9 does not belong to that. Decimal, that's our everyday system we use from 0 to 9, right? 10 digits. And hexadecimal, this is the most often used in computer science, and that's base 16. So from 0 to 9, that's 10 digits. And from 10 to 11, 12, 13, 15, 14, 15, they are 2 digits. So instead of using the 2 digits, we use letters to represent that. That is A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so A is 10, B is 11. So this is a decimal, hexadecimal number. Okay, that's 10. And that represents 11. So this is 11, this is 10 times 16, that will be 160 plus 11. That's how you calculate it. That's in decimal sense, that's the number. 171 is the decimal number. Okay, so that's that. Okay, let me simply do this one conversion. Oh, I'm also showing you, because you know, when you do this, how do people know this is a hexadecimal number? When you do this, how do people know? That's why you put this 0x before the digits. That way people know you are talking about a hexadecimal number. Okay, or you actually can do that also. I did not give you that, but you can do that also. This means hexadecimal. Okay, when you see that. And so that means it's a hexadecimal. This is a hexadecimal number. That tells you. Or you can do it this way. Those are the two ways to represent, to signify they are the hexadecimal system. Okay, any questions? Okay, so yes, go ahead.
If it's base 16, does that mean that like we go 16 to the power of 1, 16 to the power of 2, 16 to the power of 3 by place value?
Yes, yes, it's like this. If you have A, B, C, okay, this would be 16 to the 0th, 16 to the 1st, and 16 to the 2nd. And this is a C is what? It's 12, right? B is 11, A is 10. So you will do 12 times 1, 11 times 16, 10 times 16, and you add them all together. Oh, I'm sorry. This is 12 times 1, because this is 1, right? 16 to the 0th, 16 to the 1st is 16, and 16 to the 2nd is what? 256 or something? I don't know, but whatever that is.
It's 256.
236, okay?
No, 56.
Oh, it is correct. I was correct, 256, right? So you will do 12 times 1 plus 12 times 11. I'm sorry, 12 times 1. And this is 16 times 11. This is 256 times 10. And you add them together. So this will be 16 times 11 and plus 1 times 12. That is the decimal number, everybody. That's how you can. This is because 16 based is more complicated. Let's do a simple binary based calculation. Okay, so binary based is, it's if you have these digits, okay, so this would be 2 to the 0th, 2 to the 1st, 2 to the 2nd, 2 to the 3rd, 2 to the 4th, 2 to the 5th, 2 to the 6th, right? And 2 to the 7th, 2 to the 8th. That's how you calculate them, okay? And so this is always 1, right? This is 2. 2 to the 2nd is 4, 2 to the 3rd is 8, 2 to the 4th is 16, 32, you just double, 64, 128, and 256. So if you have a 0 here, you will do 0 times 1. That will give you a 0. If you have a 1 here, you will do 1 times 2. That will give you a 2. And if this is a 1, 1 times 4, right? That gives you a 4, 2, 0. And if this is a 0, 0 times 8 will give you a 0. That's how you calculate. Any questions? 1 times 16, that will be 16. And if this is a 0, then this is 0. So you add them all together. That will give you the decimal number. That's how you convert from binary to a decimal. So let's use this one as example. Okay, 1, that's 2 to the 0th, that is a 0 times 1, right? Plus, and this one is a 1, that is a 2 times 1, okay? And that is plus, this is a 0, so 0 times 4, that gives you a 0, another 0, 0 times 8, that is a 0, and this is 1 times 16, and this is 1 times 32. And the others are all 0. When it's 0, 0 times anything is a 0, right? So we have 32 plus 16 plus 0, 0, and plus 2 plus 0. No, plus 1. Oh, this is not 0. This is a 1. I said 0. This is 1 times 1. The first one is a 1. 1 times 2 to the 0th, that's 1 times 1. So we should have 4 of them plus 1. Okay, so 32, that's 48, 50, that's 51. So that's how you calculate, okay, everybody? Okay, now let's go to that exercise. See if you can do that. Okay, the binary number 111 represents the decimal integer of what? Anyone? Now you can type in chat. I can see it. Omkar said 7. Macron said 7. That's correct, everybody. And Mike said 7. That's correct. Okay. 111. Remember the first one. You always start from the right. Okay, we are not talking about 9 yet. Okay. So 111. We start from the rightmost digit. It's 2 to the 0th, and then 2 to the first, 2 to the second, 2 to the third. So 2 to the 0th is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. That's 3. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 plus 3, that's 7. Everybody. Okay. Which of the following binary numbers represents the decimal integer of 8? That is, okay, Omkar said B. Anyone else? Brandon, you said 1,000. Okay, C. A lot of you said C. Okay. Okay, so 0, 2, 1, 2, 4, 8. That's 1,000. That's not 1,000. 1, 0, 0, 0. That's correct. Okay, very good. Very good, everybody. So let me just redo that here so that you all understand it, right? This is 2 to the 0th times 1. This is 2 to the first times 1. This is 2 to the second times 1. That gives you 4 plus 2 plus 1. That gives you 7. That's that one. And this one, right? That's 2 to the 0th times 0, 2 to the first times 0, 2 to the second times 0, 2 to the third times 1. That gives you 8 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. That gives you 8. Okay, so C is correct. Very, very good. Okay, very good, everybody. I will put these examples here. So I will update this again, okay? Just to put all the examples of how to calculate that here. Okay. We are done with this one. I am going to really go to the next one, just so that you know, because I want to start this. So we have 25 minutes and we can start the next one. And this way you at least get some exposure to it. And everybody, once again, I'm going to update this slide to tell you how to calculate. Okay. Okay. My downloads, right? Okay. Number 4. Writing to and reading from text files. Okay. So this is a brand new one, but it's very much connected to the string. Okay. So Strings and text files, that's this. In this slide, in this set of slides, we are going to talk about how to open a text file for output and how to open it for input, okay? So a text file is a software object. It's an object that stores data on permanent medium, such as a disk or CD or flash drive. Okay, when compared to keyboard input from human user, the main advantage of taking input data from a file, you understand this, right? You can immediately get input instead of asking the user to type one by one. So we don't have to talk about that. You can create a text file using Notepad, okay? A text file containing 6 floating. So this is a text file, if you look at it, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 2, 6, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 floating point numbers, right? So this is a text file. Okay. All data output to or input from a text file must be strings. And this is very, very important. So anything you want to write to a file must be a string type. Anything you're reading from a file is a string. So if you want to use it as a number, you have to convert it. Okay, so this is how we open a file. If you want to work with a file, you have to open it first. Okay, so this is how you can open the file. You are opening a file and assigning that object to this name. That's what that means. Okay, so so this open function, this is a function, everybody. This function accepts how many arguments, everybody? How many arguments?
2.
Two arguments. It accepts 2 arguments, and they are both strings. Okay. The first argument is the name of the file. The second argument is the mode, access mode. That means read or write. Here, W means write. R will be read. Okay, that means you cannot change it. W means you can write to it, you can change it. Okay, so that's the open function. So open accepts 2 arguments. Both are strings. One is the file name. The second one is always the mode, access mode. And you are assigning the opened object to this variable called f. Of course, you can call it anything. Okay. If the file exists, if this file exists, it will open it for you to write. When you write, remember, you are overwriting everything. That means everything will be erased, okay? And if it doesn't exist, the system will create that, okay? That's what this does. So if you look at this, this is, once you open it, you can write to it. Remember, when you write, everything you write to the file must be a string. So this is a string. After you finish writing, you must remember to close. So I put this here so that I underlined it. You must remember to close a file after finishing writing to it. And the same is true for reading. If you finish reading, you must remember to close it. Okay. Okay, let's look at how we can do that. Okay, I am going to close this. Just to get to my taskbar. Okay, here. Okay, so right now, if you look at my C drive, let's look at my C drive. My C drive, okay, I have a folder right here. Okay, if you don't give it a path name, we will talk about path names next time. So right now, if you don't give it a path name, it will go to where your project is, your script is. My script, our script always is where? In the Python folder. So mine is here, Python, right? That's where I installed. So it will be here. I'm going to delete all these. These are useless. Okay. Delete that. I don't remember what the others are. just cancel. Okay, so now when how do you know where your file will be? If you open a new file, you can do directory, but you can just save something, and when you save, you will see it gives you their name, the place actually. So that's where automatically it's saved. With Python, the current folder is the Python folder. So I can do what? I can do my file equals to, remember the function is open, right? And if you look at my folder, I don't have other files. So I will say open my new file. Can I do the, I think I best not have the space, my file dot text, okay? And then I will open it for writing. If I do the opening it for reading, you will see what happens. It will say no such file or directory. I don't have that file here, right? So that's why it says that. So you, before it exists, you cannot open it for reading. So you will have to create that file first. To create that file, you can actually, you can just do what? Find, let's find. You can find Notepad and you can create a file. Okay, that's how, and save it. That's how you can create a file. If you don't want to create it that way, you can open it for writing and write to it. So you open it for writing, okay? Now you look at it, I don't have it. Oh, I have it actually, immediately, right? I have it. I just created 1118. It exists now. And now you can write to it, my file. To write to it, this is the method for the file object to write, right? And you can write hello world, and go to the next line, good morning, and go to the next line, maybe goodbye. Okay, so now we have 3 lines, right? That's what we are writing. Remember, when you write to a file, it must be strings. And this is just showing you the number of characters. That really doesn't matter. This, because it's interactive, immediately it gives you feedback. With a script, it doesn't give you that feedback. Okay, so always remember to close it, because right now, if I open it, you will see there is nothing. Why? Because it's not done. It's still open. So you have to remember to close it. Close. And now let's open it. Okay, that's, oh, I forgot the new line character. So it's just goodbye. So you can to the file, everybody. Now this file exists, right? And it's right here. It's where your Python is. So that's how you write to it. And if you want to rewrite to it, you need to do file. You can just do any, you don't have to always call it my file. You can change the name. But when you open it, did I just do this? Okay. Right? I can open it to read. Okay. And now I'm opening it for reading. And how do I read? I can read this way, file.read. I'm reading it, and see, it shows you this is the file. Okay, that's what is in the file. I forgot the new line character. I put 2 of them there. Okay, so now if I read it again, you will see, if I read it again, nothing. Why? Because I finished reading. So this is another important thing to remember. After you read, the reading cursor will come here at the end. So if you continue to read, there is nothing to read. Okay, it's right here, right? There is nothing to read. That's why it gives you nothing. So if you want to read it again, you have to make sure you close it. Okay. And then you reopen to read. Okay, I'm going to reopen it, and I am going to print, read from it, and then print. Okay, so when you print it, it will be formatted. It's not the text file anymore, right? It's not the with the new line character there anymore. It gives you this correctly formatted content. So that's how you read. Remember, this read will read the whole file. Okay, it's reading the whole file. And always remember, whatever your variable name is, that's the name you're using to read. And that's the name you're using to write, right? That's the name you're using to read, the name you're using to read, the name you're using to close. So I need to close it. Okay, now it's closed. That is the file reading and writing. Okay, let's come here. And we already discussed this, right? Any questions, everybody? How about you create a file, see if you can do it and find it. And then we will look at this, okay? At least, so we discussed read and write. Remember, the read is to read the whole, the whole file, not line by line, but the whole file. You just do like what I did and see if it works on your machine. Okay, 5 minutes.